We're going to be looking at good karma up next. Good karma, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, it's good to hear from you, man. It seems like you've got some updates for us today, so I'll go ahead and I'll step back and let you cover your agenda.
Thank you, Fuzzy. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the eSteem project updates. It has been a while. I think it was 2 weeks ago I joined last time. And since then we made 2 more updates on mobile app. And there was changes on Steam as well, where we had a hard fork. Recent hard fork changed quite a lot of things. And eSteem had to adapt some of the new changes. So since then we made 2 releases, and some of them to support the comments. For example, from hard fork, recent hard fork, there was a comment limiting was removed. Before we had you can nest 4 comments deep, and after that there was a limitation on a blockchain level. So after hard fork it was removed. Now there is you can make I think it is 255 in deep comments, so discussions can continue, and you can comment and go as deep as possible. So but our app wasn't supporting that well, because on a device you have a smaller screen, and if you nest 255 comments, it doesn't fit on your screen. So we made some changes to give support to that, and now after 5 comments deep, you can open up the next parenting the comment, and you can continue reading the discussion and contribute your part in it. And we also made changes in the languages. Language update is going great, and we made few additional new languages. Overall, I think we have 22 languages, and it's growing, and community is helping and improving the languages. And with each update, we update the eSteem app, we add new phrases, and community helping to keep up with the translation and growing. So we have around 60 people joined translation, and already more than 30 languages in progress, and each language at least have two person who is contributing to improve languages. So that's just great, and I want to thank all of them. And we also try to reward them by making language updates, and call for more contributors, and reward them by sending the post rewards from Steam. And another changes were with recent hard fork, we also had the beneficiaries, where you can now include beneficiary in every post made from your app. So that these changes were made so that any app developers on Steam could potentially bring their own, implement their own application, and get reward for that. And this future we were asking for a long time, and we were as a third party developers were expecting and hoping, so that we can incentivize and long-term have a long-term revenue model for application. So this future actually opened up a lot of possibilities for us. So right now, from last version of eSteem mobile, now we have a beneficiary, which is eSteem app, and it gets 1% of the reward. This is just to see as an initial trial. We will see 30 days and see how the app performing, and what are the future revenue models, and how we can plan future and long-term development of the app. And and I hope we will see Steemit also having some sort of beneficiary so that it can kind of bootstrap the competitive mood. You know, we have a few applications, busy.org, steemit.com, and eSteem, and some other projects also working on it, Steepshot. So it would be great if steemit.com had some percentage or some beneficiary so that it could bootstrap or help other applications to compete with each other in terms of the percentage reward. And it also helps to maintain development and plan for the longer term. And another changes were, since the recent hard fork, we had another change where you should manually claim your rewards from the comments and from posts you make. So this feature was introduced on Steem so that instead of automatically claiming reward, people should be actively engaged in a conversation or in a network so that they can claim their reward. So I think this will open up also a lot of possibilities in future. You can know that if the activity of the account, and you can, well, it solves some number of scalability issues also. So we also added that support on eSteem Mobile, and there are a number of other improvements performance-wise and bug fixes, and we are already working on the next version, which will come in a couple days, which will have a new changes, like slight changes on the design, and we also have a few bug fixes where users reported, and they also asked few changes. So we constantly improving and implementing new features. And I think that's all for today for eSteem mobile app. And there is some changes on the desktop app, but I think it can wait for the next Hangout. Until then, there is a plan where I'm thinking to make a sneak preview of the eSteem desktop app, which I hope will surprise you in a lot of ways. So, and you can also see where the project is moving and how it's going to evolve, and what are the long-term plans from that sneak preview. So stay tuned for that. And if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Well, thank you very much. First off, Good Karma, you are one of the people who I see. I can't stress enough how much work I see you doing on a consistent basis. Um, there's a group of people in every community that will stun you, and you're one of them. So thanks for everything you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
With that said, before I go into any questions or other comments, does anybody else have anything? I'll leave a moment of silence. Feel free to speak up. I always have questions, so I'll just shut up and let you guys speak up.
Okay, one of the things that I've been wondering about this is this is related to eSteem, but it's also related to anybody that creates an application similar to eSteem. One of the things that I get nervous about is when I have to sync my private keys into something. Now I know I could probably just sync my posting key into eSteem, I'm guessing, but for some other features I might have to do my active key or something if I want to do fund transfers and the rest of it. I think the way Facebook got away with it is that Facebook gives APIs to application developers, but you authenticate yourself with the primary site, Facebook, first, and then your login ID goes to the app developer, not your actual login for Facebook. So the app developer can service you as much as you can, but he never actually knows your password at that point. eSteem can't work that way because I don't think Steemit has tokens for users or something, so that you log in and authorize eSteem via Steemit. I think that at some point that's going to have to graduate to that level, and I just wanted to bring that issue up. on, if there's something that eSteem foresees as a flaw in the current system of building apps where the private keys have to get put into the app in order to use the app to its fullest.
Thank you for question. And I wanted to clarify some point. Your password never leaves your device, and it's not using Steemit. It's using Steem blockchain. So eSteem was designed so that it is standalone application which uses any WebSocket you want. So if you have a app, you can go to the settings page and you can change WebSocket address to any address you want, be it steemit.com WebSocket or be it your own server socket. So once you change that, and you can send the transaction, you can only send transaction to that WebSocket so that all the network knows about it. But eSteem only uses your password to generate transaction on your local device. So it never leaves your device, and it's always stays on your device. So in a way, it's designed to work as a standalone without depending in any server. So for example, steemit.com or busy.org, they rely on a domain name and a backend server, but eSteem doesn't do it. eSteem is in a way, it's working as a standalone application. In a desktop application also, we have released the first version where you can download and you can change the WebSocket from settings page, and you can keep using it. And in desktop version also, your key doesn't leave your device. So in the future, but there is a plan on Steemit roadmap. They plan to make a Steem Connect where it works similar way like you described, like Facebook, and it generates API key and so on. So, but it's I think in next quarter they plan to release that, and they're working on it. But for now, eSteem took approach to not rely on any server and not have a backend, only do local transaction signing and broadcasting the transaction to any server user chooses. In a desktop app, you will see next week when I post a sneak preview, the user flow will change very different than the first version, where you can directly connect to your local running node from desktop app. In a way, it will be the light client, and you can just connect to your local node. So, but yeah, that's what is coming with the eSteem desktop. I hope it answers or clarifies some points.
That totally answered my question. And I should almost give a disclaimer that I do fully trust Good Karma and his coding and his application. It's just something that I think a lot of people might get weary about at first, myself included. He gave a perfect explanation for that, and I think that that was a terrific answer. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I think it was a good point to bring it up because right now we will start to see many applications, and we need to be careful about our private keys and to know how application is using your private key. Usually, some applications, some new applications I saw recently, they send your private key to their server and do the transaction on their server side. But yeah, you need to be careful about that kind of projects. And the eSteem mobile app, it's available, it's open source. You can go check GitHub eSteem app, and you can check out the source code, and everything is available there. And you can generate your mobile app locally if you have experience with some development or some technical skills.
I'd like to thank you for all the work you do. You do a great job.
Thank you.
So just a quick exclamation point if we're looking at a for Dummies book or a light bulb, however you want to call it. I believe it's the exclamation point. This would basically just really boil down to, and it's a very important discussion that I think that we have regularly, which is who controls the keys in your account. Now in Steam, as long as you have, it's just your posting key and your vote, your lowest level key, nobody can access your funds. They can cause mischief and upset a lot of people who might otherwise, not want you to misrepresent them. Right, to want you to be misrepresented to them. But with that said, I'll just leave it at this. eSteem lets you hold your keys locally. That is the best for a newbie. That is the best route, as opposed to, or the most preferable route, as opposed to letting some other service control those keys. So thank you very much for bringing it up, IntelliGuy. It's a very important discussion. Thank you very much for explaining everything a little bit more in depth for those who don't understand necessarily good karma. You being a guru in this stuff kind of helps people to understand it a little bit more. So with that said, does anybody else have any questions or comments? Well, I'll say this, as far as the beneficiaries, I think it's a great idea. I think that we need to consider reaching out to the people who are going to be making those decisions and Steam it as a community or a group of people. Maybe we could all make posts or something about it. I believe that you're 100% correct that beneficiaries where you can get a cut based on how much people use Steam or how many people join Steam. Those types of schemes or structures, constructs maybe is the best word for them, provide an incentive for developers like you, and you're on the ground, good karma. So I think that as a developer, you're probably in a good place, and you're a trusted person. You've done a lot of what you've done for free. You've never asked for anything other than upvotes, so you don't even ask for upvotes. Oftentimes you may look at something and I don't need to upvote for it. But where do you think, as far as what would you like to see for you, or what about your experience has made you feel like the beneficiaries is something that we need to implement?
Well, I think from the start, when we started to see a number of applications building on top of Steam, if we want to promote Steam as a blockchain, we need to show people that anyone can build on top of it. Anyone can build up on top of it. So people building already using Steam data as a like analysis data or statistics data or showing some personalization data. And when it comes to the interacting with blockchain or submitting transaction to blockchain, then applications need to be very careful about security, and ultimately they're holding the identity of the user if they compromise the private key in any way. So they should be careful about that. And beneficiaries are important to incentivize more applications on top of it, so that applications can sustain for the long term and have in itself a revenue model and build business around it. And yeah, that's kind of my take on beneficiaries. And I think right now Steemit.com has had early kind of investment because of the earlier mining, and in the long run, I think they will also have beneficiaries, because ultimately you want project to continue to evolve and innovate more and more.
Yeah, well, I will say that I greatly appreciate you joining up today. there's a lot more that I could go into and ask, but I think we're getting to the end of your segment already. These are relatively short segments, but you're welcome to join up anytime, everybody. I just want to very much say thank you, Good Karma. How do people contact you if they want to volunteer, if they want to help? And let's go from there.
You can contact me if you have any feedbacks, or if you find any issues or want to suggest some features on app. You can check us on GitHub, eSteem app, or you can contact directly by email info@eSteem.ws, and you can also check website eSteem.ws, which will get updated soon with the latest changes. But you can always find our contacts from that page.
Well, thank you very much. And how you mentioned the GitHub. What account on GitHub would they need to follow?
On GitHub, you can basically search eSteem app, or you can do github.com/eSteem app without any spaces. It's eSteem app organization, and inside we have all the source code for Steem related applications and eSteem related source codes.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And
thank you, everyone.
And I'll go ahead and I'll say again, thank you to those of you who are attending today. Make sure if you have individuals who are interested in cryptocurrency and blockchain technology and disruptive technology in general, to join these hangouts live or listen to them after the fact. If you know people that you trust who are doing really cool things in the space and you think that they deserve to get a little bit of credit or that their ideas should be heard, feel free to let them RSVP, to let them know about this option.